Welcome to the Diligent Minds Podcast. I'm your host, Dorian Jones. I make personal development easy so that you can achieve your goals, do all the things you put your mind to, give you motivation, and so much more. It's time for you to step up, do the work, and become the best version of yourself. Let's go ahead, dive right into the show. Diligent Minds community, I'd like to welcome you all, old and new, to another episode of the Diligent Minds Podcast. Thank you for choosing me out of all the options that you had. I truly appreciate it. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and leave a rating and review. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I truly appreciate you. Not too many updates this episode. I just like to remind you to check out all the links down below where you could purchase my book. You could purchase the planner, which is going to help you gear yourself up for a new start in this new year, or just help you build that momentum that we talked about a few episodes ago. And to also inquire about the coaching program because it is filling up really quick. I may start to do group coaching, but right now I'm still doing that one-on-one coaching, helping you all build that momentum going into this new year. Or even if you just want to inquire about it to find out if it's something that you want to do maybe in the future, hit the link down below. The phone call is free, no strings attached, no pressure, none of that at all. Just hit the link down below and find out if it's the right fit for you. Last week I did mention that I will have the products available, and I have some bad news. I wouldn't say bad news, but now I know that the printer that I was using, they can't do what I wanted them to do. You can probably, I don't know if you're watching this on YouTube, if you can see my shirt. Let me put this out the way real quick. Hold on. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna go ahead and put a picture of it up so that you can see the quality that I'm talking about. And I'm big on quality. I'm a huge quality person, and I don't feel right selling this to you. I don't feel right selling this to you. It looks good from a far distance, but me knowing myself, knowing what quality that I want and that I can't give it to you, I can't sell it to you like this. So I'm working on other solutions right now so that we can get those products going before this holiday season starts. So I will keep you updated on that. Like I said, check out the IG down below to be updated more often than once a week on the podcast. Today's episode, we talking about why you don't feel motivated consistently. You know how you feel that motivation, and the next thing you know, it goes away. So you don't remain consistent in your efforts because you don't feel motivated. You may feel stressed out, depressed, all these different things. That's what we're going to talk about in today's episode. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. You know, you get that feeling where you feel motivated one minute, then the next, not so much. And that motivation is just gone. Like, you don't know where it went. You don't know why it went away, but it's gone. Like, you don't have it within you anymore. And I feel you because I've been there. I still go through it from time to time too. I'm not about to say that I'm perfect. I'm not going to say I have it all figured out or I have all the answers, because I do not have all the answers. I'm out here in life, lifing with you. So I'm feeling your pain. And I get it. That's what made me start this episode, because I was feeling down a couple weeks ago. If you were listening, I was in a dark space. I wouldn't even say a dark space. I was more in like a low tide, a low wave. When we talk about those waves of life, I was in one of those low moments. And I was like, hold on, I know where this comes from, and I was mindful of it, and I need to disconnect. I know exactly where mine had came from. And life comes at us in waves. We won't always feel like our best selves. We won't always feel like we're at our highest peak, at our highest vibration. There's going to be things going on in our mind, things going on in our life. And just things around us too is going to make us feel like we just cruising through life, like we just surviving. We just here. And that's perfectly normal. That's perfectly fine. Never feel like you're doing something wrong, like you could change yourself or anything like that. No, that's normal, and that's okay to feel that way. And sometimes this can be caused by depression, anxiety, or many other health issues, but we're not going to talk about that on this episode, or at least on this podcast. We're not about to talk about that. We're talking just more about the lack of consistency due to you not being motivated. You just losing that motivation, so you just lack consistency because you don't feel motivated all the time. One thing I want you to understand is that results take time. When you're trying to get any type of results in life, anything that's worth it, at least, it's going to take time. It's going to take, some little elbow grease. You got to put that work in there. And then that's when you're going to start to begin to see the results down the line. Do not allow your motivation to be results driven. because you'll always lose that motivation if that's the case. Every day, we won't see results. We won't always see the results that we want in our life. A lot of times, our work will feel like it's for nothing. It'll feel like we're doing all this work for nothing at all because we're not getting the results. We're going to have more days where we're doing more work with less results. Then we'll have days where we're doing the work and seeing the results immediately. That's just natural. That's just part of it. I don't know if you know that already, or if this is something new to you, like, dang, oh, that's why I'm not seeing it. Or if you just starting on a journey and you kind of blindsided by it because you got that excitement going. You're not seeing results, but you putting in the work all the time. You're researching, you're doing all these things, you're reading the books, you listen to the podcast, all these different things. You're educating yourself, but you're just not getting the results. And that's okay. It's cool because those results will come over time. And this is the test. This is the test for you. It's much easier to sit there and have excuses and do nothing at all. It's much easier because there's less resistance there. When we have momentum, we can see the results. We feel like we're moving. But what happened when that momentum stops? When that momentum that you had, it just comes to like a straight stop, like you hit a brick wall, like, damn, like I have no more momentum. What happens during these times? What happened during those times where that momentum is no longer there? That's when that motivation sometimes goes down the drain for many people. It's good when we see the fruits of our labor. We always like to see our work paying off. We like to see it immediately too. That's even better when we see those results like happen immediately. That immediate gratification. My bad, I'm over here tongue twisting these words right now. But that immediate gratification is something that we all love. But when there's more labor than fruit being put out, nobody like that. Nobody like to put in that work and then you're not getting anything back. Especially if you started off and you was getting results, you was starting to see things, you're starting to see things happen, see things start to shape into what you was envisioning. But then you hit those moments where you're doing probably more work than you did in the past, but you're not seeing anything. Sometimes this comes from the work that you're doing right now is going to give you a much bigger result or a much bigger output than what you were getting before. Those other things you were getting, they were small, you can see them, but now you kind of progress and you need those bigger jumps. And that may be what's happening with you right now, where you feel like you're losing that momentum and that momentum just feel like it's gone away. It may not be gone, it may just be building up. It may just be building up all that tension, all that pressure so that you can have a big burst once it do break through. And when you don't see that momentum though, you begin to question your actions, asking yourself, is it worth it? Or should I quit? I would have been better off doing something else and just doing other things with my time. All these different thoughts begin to come to your mind when you're not beginning to see that momentum continuously start to build up. When that momentum just stops once you had that momentum going in the first place. It begins to play with your mind. It plays mind tricks on you. You know how many times you didn't sit there and question yourself, sit there and ask yourself, what am I doing? Am I doing anything wrong with my life? Nah, you're being tested sometimes. Sometimes that momentum and that motivation comes with a test. It comes with a test that you don't even recognize at times. You may feel like a bad point in your life, but it's all a test because it's something greater coming for you. That momentum hasn't gone unnoticed. The universe, God, whoever it is you believe in, whoever it is you put your trust into, all the work you've been doing is not going unnoticed. And it's easy for us to stop when we don't see the payoff near us, when we don't see anything like close, where we don't feel like we're close to where we thought we should be at the moment. You putting that work in, and then you begin to look around and feel like you have nothing to show for the work that you've been putting in, or you feel like you don't have as much as you feel you should have at this point with the amount of work that you've been putting in. I've been there before, especially doing this podcast, doing content. Sometimes I feel like, man, I should be much further than I am. I should be doing much more than I am doing right now. I always get down on myself at times because I'm my hardest critic. So I understand where you're coming from, and I'm speaking from experience. I had to get myself out of that at times, and I'm telling you that because I don't want you to go through the same things that I went through as far as those mental battles in my head about it, beat myself up, because all these things will pass. I've gotten through all of these other things to get to this point right here, things that I never even thought I'd get past, and I want to tell you that you will get past them as well. If you believe in something, don't give up. There's no timeline for when you'll hit your destination. It can happen tomorrow, it can happen next week, it can happen next month. You don't know, but I guarantee you this. If you remain consistent on your efforts, even if you lose momentum for a little bit, even if you lose motivation for just a temporary time, just don't let that stop you in your tracks. Continue to pick yourself up and continue to roll. and just believe and trust. You always hear me say this: believe and trust and consistency, because I feel like that's the combination that's going to help you carry yourself over into anything that you want in life. Continue to improve every single day. Not just improve, but evolve. If you're evolving consistently, it'll show, and it's only a matter of time before you get everything that you've been working so hard for and more. Before you begin to get all those fruits from your labor that you've been putting in for months and years at a time. It's only a matter of time. So just stick in there no matter what. Don't worry about the results right now. Don't worry about the results from the past. Worry about what you can do at the moment to make sure that you get the results later. We're not talking about right now. We're talking about that longevity. We're talking about something that's going to last you for a while. Something that you're going to be able to say, I worked hard for this and now it's all paying off. It's taking care of me right now. That's the thing that I'm talking about. Another reason that you may feel a little unmotivated or you feel like your motivation goes away is because you may be burned out. You may be burned out just from life happening, just life. And basically life is just happening and you just overwhelmed with everything. You need to find some type of balance in your life. You need to find that fine balance between work and fun and find a way to implement things that you enjoy. Find things that bring life into you. It's easy to feel unmotivated or have no motivation to do anything because life has you beat. Life has beat you up. So how you gonna feel like, okay, I want to do something when you feel like life is getting the best of you? Your energy is drained before you even begin to think about going after your dreams and your passions. How can you think about that when your energy and everything else is already drained? Work can beat you up. Everyday life in general can make it feel like, where am I about to pull this time and energy to dedicate to these extracurricular activities? Find balance in your everyday life. Don't put 100% of your energy into areas that aren't replenishing you, areas that's not feeding into you. We get so consumed with the work and surviving that there's nothing left to do that makes us feel alive. We don't have the energy left that makes us feel alive, make us feel like life is worth living. Find balance by any means. Don't allow too many things to pile up on you that aren't feeding into you, that take up too much of your energy and too much of your time. If you're gonna be tired, at least look up and say that you enjoyed it or that you have something to show for it and that you're proud of. Because so many people have so much work that they've put in, but they're not proud of it. They don't have many things to show for it. They don't have anything to say, this is what I did it for. They just say, hey, I worked my whole life and I got those things to show for it, but I got nothing for myself. Find something for you. I want to make sure that you find that balance in your life that's going to have you show things that you're proud of, show things that you can showcase that you did for you. And one thing that many people forget about is having a why, your reason for doing what you're doing. Because we walk into life, we walk into these dreams, but okay, what's bigger than that? When we're not 100% into something, we won't give it our all. My why is having that reason that's bigger. Having a strong why means having that reason that's bigger than yourself. And that's the thing that's going to pull that energy out of you that's required during those moments where you feel like you want to quit. For me, that's helping people. Doing this podcast, creating the content, and just helping people have a better life and helping people understand that they can do it. That's why I receive my gratification from. Knowing that my words has made someone else's life better. Knowing that someone gained confidence and didn't give up because of me. Knowing someone said, hey, I'm not going to give up on myself because I listened to Dorian. I listened to that Diligent Minds podcast. I believe in his words. He put some life into me. That's what gives me that thing to keep going. That's my why. But you need to find that thing for yourself. Find out what that is for you. This is what drives me, but it may be different for who you are. It may be different. It may be your family. It may be something that you want. I don't know. You have to identify your why, because that's going to be that thing that's going to drive you and have you feeling motivated. If you're not feeling motivated right now, that's because you need to think about that reason that's bigger than yourself. As we wind down to this episode, one other thing I want to touch on is you're not uncomfortable. You do not want it enough. Whatever it is you're asking for, whatever it is you're going after, you don't want it enough, because we all have ideas in our mind. We all have these things we want to do in our life. And these ideas sometimes come to us when we're not in a desperate need of it. We're not like desperate. We're not fight for our life type thing. But if you had these things come to you and you in your leisure time, you comfortable, it's going to be put to the side. So you may go into it when you have time, when you have energy. It's not a priority for you. And there's no urgency or reason to act on it right away. You don't have no reason to do it. This can be a side hustle or an idea that seems cool, but you're not super passionate about it. I've seen it happen to so many people so many times with them who have ideas and dreams, but it don't go too far beyond that. It don't go too far beyond being a thought and a dream. They're not willing to alter their norm to fit this idea into their life. You see this often with people who jump from idea to idea. It's easy for them to do it because they're trying to find something that requires as little effort as possible, but gives the most in return. It's not realistic. In order to pull motivation from anything, there has to be passion and purpose behind it. Life isn't going to make it easy for you. Life is always going to give you a challenge. Life is always going to be a little bit hard on you. So expect that. We all would love for all of our efforts to give us the best results, especially with our minimal efforts. With us just doing as little work as possible. We love to get all those great results that got us excited in the first place. If this is what you're looking for, you're in for a big surprise. Don't look for the easy route because there's no such thing as an easy route. No matter what you decide to do, as you go along, as you stay consistent, that route becomes more difficult. To find consistent motivation, I want you to dig within because that's where it's found. That's where you'll find it. Look at yourself and find out what it is that you truly want. That's where you find all the motivation that you need. It won't be in a video. It won't be in a podcast or an inspiring interview. It ain't going to be there. The answer begins with you deciding that you want it and that you will get it by any means. So that wraps it up for today's episode. Don't forget to check out all the links down below. Reach out to me on IG, inquire about the coaching program. Don't forget to subscribe, whether you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts, YouTube, wherever you at. Hit that subscribe button and go ahead and have a great day. And remember, everybody's greatest within, even you.